Hey, what's up, y'all? I want to talk about the PlayStation 5 price increase, and I also want to talk about the pros and cons to owning a PlayStation 5. But first, let's get into this price increase. I'm going to come right out the gate and say it. Sony is being greedy here. They've sold every PlayStation since the PlayStation 3 at a loss. Now, the loss is varied, but the PlayStation 3 is just a golden example of them being greedy now. At launch, Sony sold each 20 gig PlayStation 3 for a loss of $300. They sold each 60 gig PlayStation 3 for a loss of $240. Now, by 2009, they had lost $4.7 billion from losses with the PlayStation 3. And they didn't turn a profit off the PlayStation 3 hardware sales until, I believe, late 2011. So you do the math. Fast forward to present day, and the PlayStation 5 costs $450 to make. Now, I'm not sure if that's the disk drive or the digital, but either way, they're not losing that much money. On top of that, PlayStation had its most profitable year ever, its most profitable year in its entire existence, while selling the PlayStation 5 at a loss. So the price increase is not substantial to their income or their profits. It doesn't make any sense at all. They're making the bulk of their money through digital sales, through software sales, and through plus subscriptions. Also, last year they reported that they've been turning profit off hardware sales. Now, if there's been a price change between now and then, I doubt it's been as substantial as a loss that they were taking on the PlayStation 3. I don't really understand Sony as of late. I mean, they threw billions at Bungie, and now all of a sudden they're poor old me. I need money. It doesn't really make much sense to me. I mean, they're making money in other revenues and other avenues with the PlayStation. I don't understand why they need to do this. And I mean, honestly, I get it. There probably is a price increase with the parts now, with the pandemic and the aftermath of the pandemic and the war and etc. But it doesn't make sense to try to charge the consumer. You just take the loss like you've always taken the loss. And I mean, Microsoft takes a loss on every Xbox sold. They're not as transparent as Sony. They don't really get into the pricing, but they said they've been taking a loss since the Xbox One, and they're taking a loss with the new consoles now. So I mean, just take the loss. I mean, I don't really get why they need this extra bit of money, especially too after they had their most profitable year ever. It's just greed. That's all it comes down to is greed. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons of owning a PlayStation 5. And for the people that haven't got one yet, maybe this can help you guys decide if it's worth it for you or not. Hopefully, this helps. I want to start off with the pros first. And one of the first things I'm going to say about this is very subjective. It depends on what type of person you are. Me personally, I've always loved Sony's exclusives, and that hasn't changed with the PlayStation 5. The entire reason I got a PlayStation 5 was because I wanted to be able to play Marvel Spider-Man 2 day one. That was the turning point for me. And I gotta say, I'm honestly, as far as like games go, I'm very pleased with the experience they provided. I feel like this is the only next gen console on the market. Obviously, the X series exists, but they don't have any games that rival anything that PlayStation has exclusively. Returnal, Demon Souls remake, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, all of that just blows everything on Xbox out of the water, in my opinion, and it's a big positive for the PlayStation. Also, another positive is the Dual Sense. Now, this controller is absolutely amazing. Now, I know there's an issue with the stick drift, the analog stick drift. I haven't experienced it yet, and I don't think my brother's experienced it yet, but I am very aware it's a very real problem. Now, I hope I don't experience it. If I do, then I'm probably going to have to buy another controller, and they're expensive as hell. That's a big negative. But anyway, we're on positives right now. Another pro is the load times are insanely fast. Some games is almost borderline non-existent, and these games look absolutely amazing, and they still load so fast. It's a massive pro for the PlayStation 5. Also, the video editing and video capturing is far better than it was on the PlayStation 4. As a bare bones straight up video game console, the PlayStation 5 does almost everything right. The problem is when you compare it to the PlayStation 4 or even its competitor, the Xbox X Series, then it starts to kind of fall on its face. And I'll explain that more as I segue into the cons. One of the things that annoys me the most about the PlayStation 5 is Sony did not mandate a specific way to do save transfers from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, so it ultimately depends on the developers and it's a case by case basis. Now, most games have you upload your PS4 save and download the save on PS5. It's quick, it's easy, it's not a problem. Now, other games have you install both versions, the PS4 and the PlayStation 5 version, to your PlayStation 5 and have the save migrate between the two versions. And if it's a download only, you have to download two versions of the same game and take up all that hard drive space. Massive con, in my opinion. The next few items on my list are things I really enjoyed on the PlayStation 4 that are for some reason absent on the PlayStation 5, and we'll start that off with no web browser. Now, I'm aware of some of the workarounds. I know you can go through Twitter, but you still have limited browsing access, and you can also have someone message you Google, and once again, you still have limited browsing access. This is in no way, shape, or form as good as the PlayStation 4 web browser, and it's honestly not supported by Sony, which is very weird because the console is capable of it. You can see that the console is capable of it. You can see they planned on making this a feature, but they kind of just stopped halfway through. And this is kind of my issue with the PlayStation 5. There's a lot of things like this to where you like they just stopped. You know, like they were thinking about doing it, but then like, nah, we'll do it later. It's 2 years into the console's lifetime, and we haven't really seen any main updates or changes in the UI. That's something that really disappoints me. Now, I just recently got my PlayStation 5, but I've played on PlayStation 5s before. My brother has had one for a while now. So I know like where the UI has been, and I know I've not seen much of a change or any type of growth, which is very aggravating. Another feature missing from the PlayStation 4 is folders. Now, this is supposed to be returning, but it honestly should have shipped with the console. This is something I became really fond of with the PlayStation 4, especially as my library increased. I like to just have all the games categorized. I had platformers categorized. I had my first person shooters categorized. It kind of just makes everything very neat. And I really feel like the way they do it with the PlayStation 5 here, when you go through your library and your collection, there's not really much ways to sort, and you're in desperate need of folders here. And I mean, they're beta testing this now, but I don't understand why it's taking so long. They're kind of dragging their feet. The next three features on my list that are present on the PlayStation 4 but for some reason absent on the PlayStation 5 all tie into community features. And I'll just say right off the bat, the PlayStation 5's community features are painfully inferior to the PlayStation 4's. As a content creator, I'm actually just appalled at everything they removed. And I'll start right off the bat with there's no more live from PlayStation. On top of that, they've also removed followers. And for me, this is just really aggravating because there's people still actively using live from PlayStation. There's people that are still actively following each other. And I mean, I actually built up a hefty following on PlayStation. I have people that watch my videos through PlayStation, and now here I am on PlayStation 5, and they're not seeing anything I'm uploading. They're not seeing anything I'm posting. Also, too, they've gotten rid of any type of updates. Your friends can no longer see what you've played. They can no longer see what you've created. They can no longer see what you've uploaded. They can't see the trophies you unlocked. It's just a very closed off new type of community they're doing here that I do not like. It seems inferior. It seems very backwards. Okay, and the next thing I want to talk about is media applications such as Netflix, Hulu, etc. Now, it's very weird how they did this because on the PlayStation 4, you simply went to an app that took you to a whole slew of media applications. Here on the PlayStation 5, it's big business. You pretty much go inside if you're going to play games or you're going to look at media. The thing that's interesting to me about this, though, is there is less media applications on the PlayStation 5 than there are on the PlayStation 4. And you can use the argument that, well, the PlayStation 4 has been around longer, but there's big name applications that are missing. For instance, Paramount Plus is still not on the PlayStation 5, along with a couple of others. Now, this is opinionated and not factual, but I personally just don't like the PlayStation 5's UI. Now, I don't think it's horrible, but it feels like it's a step back from the PlayStation 4. I feel like things are kind of just clustered together. One thing I do like is the fact that there's a trophy tracker. And, there's a lot of things you can do from just tapping the PlayStation button to help you in game. Aside from that, I think everything was better on the PlayStation 4. I also do not like the storefront. I feel like they've really just butchered it. I feel like it was absolutely perfect on the PlayStation 4. The load screens could have been a little bit better at times, but maybe that was my internet connection. Aside from that, I absolutely adored the PlayStation 4's PlayStation Store, whereas here I have a lot of trouble navigating it. There's a lot of things that don't really work. Perfect example, when I'm going through deals and I click PlayStation 5, it shows me all the PlayStation 5 games. It does not show me any PlayStation 5 games that are on sale. Even with all that being said, I cannot recommend the Xbox X Series or S Series over the PlayStation 5. I'm a gamer. Games are way better than me, and the PlayStation has the exclusives. I mean, look at the footage I've been showing you guys. These games are just absolutely gorgeous, and they're fun to play. They're phenomenal. And I understand the price can be pretty crazy for the PlayStation 5 now, depending on where you live with the price increase. And it's pretty fucked up. It puts you guys in a tough spot because I can imagine wanting to play these games because like nothing I've shown here is on Xbox. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'll see y'all in the next video.